Okay, so welcome everybody to our weekly healthcare support discussion. This meeting is sponsored by the Healthcare Support Association of America. It's just a vehicle, a mechanism by which a group of us have gotten together to share information that you'll find useful and beneficial when making your health and wellness decisions. I am not a medical doctor. I want to make that very clear, but some of our partners are. We have scientists, researchers, and other medical doctors and professionals that make up part of our team. We make some recommendations of different products that you can use right now. One of the things that we're really focusing our attention heavily on is a micronutrient that was formulated by Dr. Kedar Prasad. And we'll tell you a little bit about that later on in our discussion. But today you were invited to hear a discussion centered around the subject of diabetes. Why live with diabetes? And to get us started though, I thought it might be good to take a minute or two, and there's a video clip, and maybe some of you have seen this video clip. It was done by, it was produced on or ran on PBS some years, just this past summer. June is when it was released, 2020. So hang on a second, let me see if I can find it. It doesn't show up on the screen when I go to screen share here for some reason, so I'm gonna have to navigate to it, all right? So hold on one second. And let's see if we can't find it. And I only kept it, I have a clip of it. It's only about 5 minutes long, but it really lays the foundation for our discussion. Why live with diabetes? Because this begins to explore and lays the foundation for exactly what the status is with diabetes right now. Okay, so hang on just a second and see if you can't hear this.
In the United States, it is estimated that there's about 100 million people with diabetes and pre-diabetes, 100 million people in the country affected by a blood sugar problem.
The economic impact of diabetes is devastating. We spent almost $350 billion on diabetes in the United States last year.
Diabetes, a chronic disease that's notoriously difficult to control. It can maim and even kill. A generation ago, less than 3% of Americans had diabetes. Today, it's almost 10%.
It is now predicted that half of the U.S. population will have either diabetes or pre-diabetes by the year 2025. Half.
Living with diabetes today is a story of new discoveries about our food environments and choices.
As a 7-year-old coming from a third world country and getting free candy, I was like, yo, I'm so down for America right now. Like, this is tight.
It builds on exciting new progress in drugs and technologies that have made the disease more manageable.
This device is around the corner, and that's really what we're trying to do, is get much better therapy to people that requires much less of their participation and provides much better care.
And it reveals the terrible struggles that so many with diabetes still have, day in and day out.
So they was looking at me like, how are you even standing here on your feet? You're supposed to be in a coma.
So when we think about the impact to the system, way too many emergency room visits, way too many amputations. Why isn't there a war on diabetes? Got her flu shot already.
So this guy was just told, oh no, he's fine. Okay, we're good. Okay, let's put Goodall in a room.
Oh, thank you.
My nurse practitioner start with it. Thank you. I'm Dean Schillinger. I'm a primary care doctor at San Francisco General Hospital. 1 minute, okay? When I started out as a young doctor, about 1 in 20 of my patients had type 2 diabetes. Now it's 1 in 2.
Diabetes undercuts one of the most basic functions of our bodies, our ability to break food down into nutrients, including the sugar, glucose, that provides energy.
Okay.
The hormone that manages sugar levels is insulin.
Tira. Tira, tira, tira.
So think of insulin as the medicine that you can't live without, right? Like a key that unlocks the door to your cells and allows the glucose to enter your cells. That keeps the level of sugar in your blood in check and your cells nourished.
This insulin-glucose cycle is disrupted in diabetes. In type 1 diabetes, the immune system attacks and destroys the part of the pancreas that makes insulin. In type 2, the pancreas makes too little insulin and the body resists the insulin it has.
It's really obvious when your blood glucose is too low why that's dangerous. You know, you can't breathe, you can't survive, you won't live very long if you have blood sugar that's too low. Blood sugar that's too high is equally dangerous, if not more dangerous, over time.
Diabetes is truly a silent disease. It could take up to 15 years for someone with diabetes to develop the first symptoms that are related to high blood sugar levels.
You don't have a water or soap, you want to use an alcohol pad.
For many people, by the time diabetes is diagnosed, the damage is done. Damage that can include blindness, heart disease, strokes, even amputations.
All right.
Okay, I'm going to stop it right there at this point. Not sure if you all were able to see that. Let me just get a little poll here. Was everybody able to see that or see and hear that okay?
Yes.
Okay, all right, good. And basically, as you can see, it just sort of, the idea was for that to give us the statistics. And as you can see, the documentary is called Blood Sugar Rising. You can find it still on YouTube if you want to see the entire thing. I highly recommend that you take a look at it. But you just think of the numbers. The numbers are staggering with exactly how much diabetes there is out there. At one time, it was 10%, and now they're estimating by the year 2025 that there's going to be 50% of the US population that's going to have diabetes. What a horrible, horrible condition. But we say that you don't have to necessarily live with it. In fact, we have one brief story that we'd like to share right from the beginning. So I'm going to stop the screen share and give you a chance to talk with Angelique. Angelique has one of her clients that recently had some interesting results. All she did was make some adjustments in her diet, and she added a micronutrient to her diet. It's actually her husband's story, and saw some very interesting things take place. So let me just stop and let's let Angelique kind of tell the story. Let's see if we can't do that. Spotlight Angelique. Okay, Angelique Greer, why don't you go ahead and tell us what happened?
So I was inviting the couple to today's Why Live with Diabetes because I knew that was one of the husband's problems. But he also has dementia, and a few years ago he had a triple heart attack. I don't know exactly what that is, but and he has high blood pressure. So I told her about the micro daily, and they got it. But they also got the brain boost. So he's taking the micro daily as if he had the diabetes, and the diabetes is now gone. He was having levels of 240 and it went down to 88. And he also had energy of a 17-year-old. I am quoting his wife. He is 75, but his energy level was like a 17-year-old, and it was driving her crazy because he was climbing trees and cutting them down. And she said, he's going to kill himself with this. But she also noticed with the brain boost, his dementia stopped it stopped him from declining. So it's not gone, but it's not getting worse. So he thinks he's better, so he doesn't want to take the micro daily anymore, but she's still putting the brain boost in his food, and he doesn't know that. That's why she's not telling this experience herself, because she doesn't want him to hear it and then become suspicious. But she said she calls the micro daily and the brain boost herbs. She says they definitely work. And he no longer has high blood pressure either. He was able to lose weight. So because she's cooking for him and he stopped eating out. And so he's made quite a bit of improvement. And this is only a few months. This is not like a year. This was since the pandemic. I think maybe he's been on it for maybe 4 months or so, something like that. And she takes it also. She says, now I have to take the micro daily to keep up with him.
Because he's 75 years old and he's running around like a 17-year-old. All right, well, that's kind of interesting story. Thank you very much for sharing that story, Angelique. We look forward to hearing part 2, maybe at a point when she's willing to come on to tell the story. So, thank you.
So I was
Okay.
downstairs for a while after
If you're not commenting, if we just mute everybody, that would be good, Alfreda. That would be helpful. Okay, all right. So now let's go back to our slide, our PowerPoint presentation. I'm just going to click through a few slides and tell a brief story about diabetes and exactly how adding this micronutrient, what it is that could have been taking place with this client of Angelique, why it was. I'm trying to hide this panel here. Hide floating meeting controls. There we go. You know, why it is that it's possible that he got the kind of results that he got by just adding this micronutrient to his diet. As you can see, we've titled this presentation, Why Live with Diabetes? Now, there was a time when the only suggestions that was given for a diabetic would be to eat better, you know, choose the right kinds of food, keep an eye on what you eat. And that would be great if it was affordable to eat this healthy. There's some people who have diabetes not by choice, but by circumstance. Some folks, it's cheaper for them to go to the dollar menu and feed a family rather than to go and try to get them full on healthy food, such as the ones that we're looking at here. But a doctor would love it if you could just, you know, control diabetes by eating properly. The second problem we have with food is that it just doesn't have the same nutritional value that it used to have. There was a time when you could expect that the food that you ate would give you all the nourishment that your body would need, but now it's very different. It's not the same anymore. Let me make sure that you guys are seeing the correct screen here. You are seeing the slides, right?
Yes, we were.
Okay. All right, good. But now with the advent of commercial farming, the soil has been depleted of its nutritional content. The food will extract 20, 30, 40 minerals from the ground, just a plethora of nutrients from the ground, but the government only requires that about 7 or 8 or 9 different nutrients be sprayed back in the ground. So it's not, they don't do the crop rotation anymore. Now it's all being done artificially. And of course, they've genetically re-engineered so much of the food that it's no longer what you or your grandparents and others knew to be food. It's not the same anymore. In fact, that's one of the recommendations that we have, is that you try to find yourself living or eating as GMO free as you possibly can. Okay, so we would highly encourage that. Now, when it comes to diabetes, diabetes has a number of ways that it manifests itself. This one wheel here just kind of gives you a few of the ways that that it can appear. One of the things that many people complain about is this peripheral neuropathy. I grew up around that. My mother always had poor circulation and was always neuropathy. She couldn't feel the ground. I still remember one day that a doctor extracted a needle, a sewing needle from her heel. She didn't even feel it. It had been there for a long time. And she was very fortunate not to have to deal with amputations. My father-in-law was not, so fortunate. Joanna's father, he suffered amputations for just a series of amputations, all because of the complications of diabetes. Eventually, it can lead to things like heart disease. My mother was dealing with that, kidney failure. That was the worst thing I think my mother ever experienced, was going through the kidney failure, because when she started dialyzing, that was the beginning of what would eventually cause her death. But glaucoma, cataracts, stroke is a possibility, and the list of complications goes on and on. But the sad part about this is that many of these complications is not diabetes itself. It's not directly connected to just the elevated or the insufficient levels of sugar, glucose in the blood, but many of these complications or side effects is actually caused by the medication that is used to treat the diabetes. In fact, one of the most common ones, of course, is insulin. And I still remember, well, pork insulin was one of the most common ones. My mother used to use that, had to be refrigerated, but the side effects of it was just horrible. So if you just do the research on it, take a look, you can see for yourself. And that, again, it's not the diabetes that's causing most of these problems, but it's generally the side effects of the medication that's being used to treat the diabetes. And just this year, in fact, this is just a few weeks old, this article here on CNN, but the recall is being expanded for the type 2 diabetes drug metformin, because it had excessively high levels of a known carcinogen. It says here contamination with possible carcinogen. There are other articles that outright reveal exactly what it was, a known carcinogen. Elevated levels, okay? Excessively high levels, unacceptably high levels of a carcinogen. In other words, they consider certain levels of this carcinogen in metformin to be acceptable. Now, let's add to that there are some countries in the world right now that have banned metformin because of how toxic and how dangerous it is. But that's a whole nother discussion in itself. So again, I just want to throw it out there that one of the things that a diabetic needs to be aware of is that the medication used to treat the disease often causes other problems and exacerbates the problem. Just about 10 years ago, I think it was the San Francisco Chronicles where I read this article, that it was a study that was done. They announced that they had discovered that diabetes medicine caused diabetes. And the article explained that the reason it caused diabetes is because the medicine itself damaged the pancreas. Now, if you are like most of us who are not, that well educated on the anatomy, maybe you just think to yourself, well, if my pancreas isn't working so well, what difference does it make if the medication does damage to the pancreas? It's not working anyway. Well, the problem is that a couple things. Your diabetes may not necessarily be related to your pancreas not functioning properly. It could simply be an autoimmune problem. You heard it in the documentary that the immune system could actually be doing damage to a portion of the pancreas. That's specifically the beta receptors on the pancreas. That's what senses glucose levels in the blood and tells the body to release a proportionate amount of insulin. The better solution would be to solve the autoimmune dysfunction rather than destroy the pancreas. And of course, then there's other problems, that the cells being resistant to or having not responding properly to insulin, not allowing the insulin to open up to allow sugar to be absorbed into the cell. So rather than concluding that it's okay for a drug to be destroying the pancreas, oh, by the way, the pancreas is responsible for hundreds of other enzymes in the body, not just insulin. There are many other functions to the pancreas. You need that for more than just the production of insulin. So it should not be acceptable to have any drug doing damage to an organ in your body. That's unacceptable. So where should you focus your attention? Our recommendation is to focus your attention on your immune system. Your immune system is the most important asset you have in your body. The immune system is so powerful, it can actually kill you, but it can also take care of and rid your body of anything that's not supposed to be there. It doesn't matter what it is, the immune system can work to rid the body of whatever does not belong there. It just has to be trained properly to distinguish the difference between self and not self. And see, that's where the problem comes in when we were talking about that food a moment ago. Because of toxins and contaminants being added to the food, contaminants can appear to be self. They take on certain characteristics that look like a natural protein in the body, but because it's just a little bit off, the immune system now thinks that, wait a minute, this doesn't belong here because it's got this one little small thing that's wrong with it. So instead of just finding that protein, it comes and finds something very close to it and destroys it also. It just so happens that everything it's destroying, it could be a beta receptor on your pancreas. It could be some other part of the body that it shouldn't be attacking. So the immune system can easily become confused when certain contaminants come into the body, especially genetically modified organisms. You want to stay away from GMOs as much as possible. One of the key components to making your immune system work properly is raising glutathione levels in the body. As you can see, one glutathione deficient state listed here in the physician's desk reference is diabetes. So you keep your glutathione levels sufficiently high, and your body's immune system can actually be much more successful in warding off things like diabetes. There's a slide here that I wanted you to, oh no, I put it in, it's okay, we saw it. So anyway, this kind of brings us to the portion of our discussion where I wanted to tell you about the gentleman that we mentioned at the very beginning of our discussion, Dr. Kedar Prasad. Dr. Prasad spent some 40 years developing the right combination of micronutrients and vitamins, along with several antioxidants that help neutralize the harmful effects of inflammation and oxidative stress. Now, that's a mouthful, but understand something. We're not talking about a vitamin, not talking about some multivitamin that you can go and purchase at CVS or Walgreens. We're talking about a very specific combination formulation of micronutrients that impact the body in an incredible fashion. Dr. Prasad's accolades are extensive, but to make a very long story short, he approached the United States government and was granted funding to the tune of $24 million to continue his research and development. And as a result of it, this is just some of the patents. There was 7 patents that were issued, all in conjunction with various departments of the United States government. 2 of them are my favorites. The first one, DNA protection and repair. So we're talking about a micronutrient that has a patent that proves that it repairs damage done to your cells caused by radiation. And before you say that you've never been to Fukushima, you've never been to Chernobyl, and if you don't know what those are, that's fine, or you're just a very young person. Fukushima radiation has already been measured on the east coast of the United States. So Fukushima radiation from Japan has been measured on the east coast of the United States. So we are being exposed to this day still to Fukushima radiation. The other way that we're being exposed to excessively high amounts of radiations is because of these devices that we all carry on our persons. So if you have a smartphone, that's an Android, you're getting high levels of radiation. If you have a semi-smartphone, you know, one of those other phones that have that little Apple thing on it. I'm just kidding, of course. then either way, you're still getting massive amounts of radiation. I'm not referring to an Android, an iPhone as a semi-smart device. They're all smartphones. Okay, I was just making a joke there. So ignore that portion of my statement. Either way, your smartphone device is emitting large amounts of radiation. We're being exposed to it at excessively high levels. This micronutrient has a pattern that indicates that our body can repair DNA damage caused by low dose of radiation. But the part of this that really just brings home the whole point of our discussion is this very last one. You notice it? This patent was done in connection with the United States Army. Type 2 diabetes protection, micronutrient for treatment of diabetes mellitus. That's the one that got my attention. That's the reason why I decided to partner with the company Engage Global and have established a relationship with Dr. Prasad and the corporation Engage Global, because the product is now produced is called Micro Daily. And if it has anything, especially a treatment for diabetes, I never found, and I've been in the nutrition, natural health business now for approaching 40 years, and at least 35, and have not seen a natural product that has a patent and claims to be a treatment for diabetes. Now, of course, we have to be careful. We don't actually make the claim that it can treat diabetes, but we can tell you that it has a patent for the treatment of diabetes. See, we can tell you that because it's in the patent, and you don't have to, take my word for it. Like I said, it's right there on the list: micronutrient treatment for patent for the treatment of diabetes. And this is an actual screenshot of the title of the patent itself. I'm reading it again: micronutrient formulations for the treatment of diabetes mellitus. So the word treatment is in the title of the patent. Then if you examine the patent closely, here's just a couple of high points from the patent itself. Formulations for minimizing damage to at least one of cells, organs, and systems within the body of a subject afflicted with diabetes mellitus. Now, you just wrap your mind around which organ these micronutrients will protect that could be connected to diabetes. And of course, we're referring to the pancreas. And there is proof that these nutrients protect damaged cells, especially cells damaged by the immune system or oxidative stress or free radical damage. In the year 2000, look at this. It said 5.4% of the population was known to be suffering from diabetes. That was 16 million people. And they're saying right now, there's 100 million people who are diabetic or pre-diabetic. And did you notice from the documentary? It can take up to 15 years for a person who's actually in a stage of diabetes. There's no longer just 2 stages, by the way. You can do the research on this. They now believe that there's more like 5 stages, 5 forms of diabetes. So the type 1, type 2, but they called metabolic syndrome and pre-diabetes and other components within diabetes. Those are also different types. So you can be suffering from the symptoms or actually in the throes of diabetes for as much as 15 years before it's actually diagnosed and before the symptoms start to manifest itself. And by the time it manifests, a person could be heading toward blindness, heart disease, and several other very serious problems. In fact, there's some scientists, some researchers believe that heart disease and diabetes should be classified as the same disease. But it's not just this 5.4% now. It's 100 million now that are diabetic or pre-diabetic, and they're predicting in the next 4 years, 50% of the United States population. So it's 1/3 now, heading toward 50% of the United States will be diabetic or pre-diabetic. And that's just mind-boggling. The patent went on to specifically make reference to the pancreatic beta cells being damaged by free radicals and oxidative stress. And this micronutrient protects and disrupts that process. So that's the reason why if you're diabetic or you know someone who's diabetic, they should be ingesting this micronutrient in their body. And my favorite line in the entire patent is this: the above described formulations are typically administered orally to a subject in need thereof for the purpose of mitigating, if not entirely eliminating, the symptoms of diabetes mellitus. It doesn't say it's a cure for it, but it does say the symptoms can go away. And you heard Angelique at the very beginning of our program describe one of her clients' firsthand story, claiming that her husband's doctor said that he was no longer suffering with diabetes. Just look again at the credentials for this vitamin. It's a micronutrient, and it has credibility that is just completely outstanding. You look at it, and it doesn't, there's not much to it. It's a little green bottle, beautiful green bottle. I like the packaging. It also comes in a green bag and with a blister pack, so you can just kind of stick it in your pocket. Very convenient to carry. Actually, probably a lot more convenient for most men, because we will tend to forget. If it's up to reaching for a bottle like this, we may tend to forget. But you can get it in a bag, also in a blister pack, so you can have it in your pocket to make sure that you don't miss your dose. But that's how simple it is to get it. Look at the ingredients. Again, not very complicated, but don't think that this is all that it is. It's just these multivitamins. And you can't get that in any other combination. This is a unique, very specific, patented formulation, as you can see. Dr. Prasad developed several other formulations as well. The MTHFR, very specific for those who may have problems with the MTHFR gene. There's also the EMF formula for those who might be exposed to even higher levels of radiation, not just your smartphone. Maybe you live in an area where 5G is already starting to roll out, or maybe you live somewhere near some high power lines, or maybe you're spending too much time on your computer. Either way, someone who's getting higher levels of radiation, the EMF formula has all the benefits of the regular microdaily, but it also has additional components that help with radiation. My absolute favorite is the Microdaily Plus. So this is the one that I recommend the most to my clients, because it's got CBD in it. And if you know anything about CBD, extracted from hemp, not from marijuana, it's all from the cannabis plant, but from hemp. So it's the one that's legal in the United States. So this the CBD extracted from hemp, phenomenal. Lowers anxiety, helps with with everything. Every cell in your body has CBD receptors, by the way. Every cell in your body wants CBD. It's more expensive. This one's like $99 per bottle, and the regular Microdaily is only $49.95 per bottle. So, but whichever way that you decide to go, you can't go wrong, even if you just go with the this version of it. But if you're a diabetic, I recommend that you go with 3 capsules at least twice a day. You can do 3 capsules with each meal, especially if you're a very serious brittle diabetic. 3 capsules with every meal would be extremely beneficial for you, but at least 3 with at least twice a day. If you're diabetic, you get the quickest, best results from that. Keep in mind now, the statements that we're making have not been evaluated by the FDA. We're not making any claims that Microdaily is a treatment or cure for any disease. We're just describing what Dr. Prasad, the patent says about it, what it's been formulated, and what they claim that it does inside the body, and the science proves that it actually does perform those functions inside the body. So let's take a break here for now and give you guys some time to ask any questions that you might have. I stopped the screen share. I'm going to the gallery view now, so you can turn your cameras on if you want to, and ask any questions. If I didn't make something clear, I may or may not know the answers to it, but I'll do my best to guide you.
Hey, Jonathan, I just wanted to make a comment. Today and tomorrow, you can get, if you buy 1 bottle of the CBD Boost, you get 1 bottle free. So you can take that along with your regular Microdaily. Yeah, that's a $70 value. So you can just add it. And I think again, I agree with you. It's good to have as part of your arsenal. I'll tell what happened this morning. This morning I woke up with a cough, and I started sneezing. And so what I did, I put 2 of the microdaily powder sticks in some water, and then I took 1 of the CBD capsules with microdaily. And then I looked in my cupboard. I even took a vitamin D because somebody said I might be low on vitamin D. So I took 1 of those, and the symptoms that I had this morning are gone. And then I just took drank another microdaily, like I see Dolores over there drinking. And so I was like, whatever it is, I'm getting ready to wash it out of my body today. So that if you have these things available, as soon as you get any kind of symptom, you just jump right on it. And so I just wanted to mention that.
Very good. Very good. Thank you for mentioning that. I'm the same way. As soon as I feel anything coming on, I double up. Because unfortunately, right now, we're being exposed to all kinds of things. No matter how many times you test negative for COVID-19, we're being exposed to it. So if you start feeling a sore throat, assume it's possible and just step it up. Last week, we interviewed Dr. Prasad, and it was phenomenal. So if you have not heard the recording, if you missed last week's meeting, just request it from whoever invited you here today, and they'll give you the link to the recording of the interview from last week from Dr. Prasad. And he described very, very clearly with no ambiguity. It was very plain how this micronutrient disrupts the activity of COVID-19. So, and his paper is very specific about that as well. Okay, so any other stories? Anyone who has anything that they would like to share with us? Any good results you've had using microdaily? Especially if you're one of those ones that have benefited from it that was diabetic or that is diabetic. But any story is fine, and any question you'd like to ask is okay as well. Now's your chance. While you're thinking about it, you can use the raise your hand feature if it's enabled on your device. Otherwise, just unmute yourself and start talking. That'll be fine. But in the meantime, please make sure you drink plenty of water. Okay, because as this product is working inside your body, it's grabbing free radicals and it's trying to remove whatever does not belong in your body. It's trying to remove it from your body. And water is the best vehicle for getting those things out. So if you're not drinking enough water, you could find yourself itching. You could develop a rash. You could get headaches. So that's called Herxheimer effect. That's not because you're allergic to microdaily. It's called Herxheimer effect or detox reaction. So you mitigate detox reaction by making sure that you drink plenty of water. The correct amount of water is equally as important as insufficient water. The right amount is half your body weight in ounces. So if a person weighs 150 pounds, divide that number by 2, whatever that number is, 75, that much ounces. So 75 ounces per day of water is what you need. That's the correct amount for that person. So if you weigh 200 pounds, then you need 100 ounces of water per day. Okay, so just start working on that. Try to get the right amount in. Okay, the first hand that went up was Genevieve Wilson. Go ahead, please.
Yes, I want to know, can I drink microdaily the first thing in the morning before I eat, or should I eat first?
You can drink it right away. I often roll out of bed and grab my 3 capsules and pop them down so I don't forget them. But it does work a little better with food. If you're the kind of person that your sugar levels are a little bit low in the morning, what you could do is make yourself drop a little bit lower when you take the microdaily. So if you are in that state, eat and take it.
Okay, thank you.
You're quite welcome. Joyce Stanley, please go ahead, Joyce.
Yeah, I'm like you guys. I double up. I had some symptoms about a week ago. I woke up super early in the morning and I started sneezing and I couldn't stop sneezing. And then I started feeling a chill in my bones. And so I did exactly what Alfreda did. I doubled up and I went in my cabinet and I grabbed some extra vitamin D. And of course I had some hot fluids and things like that. My stomach bothered me a little bit. I think it was a sign of whatever was coming on. But about not even 6 hours later, I was feeling totally normal again. And the reason why I started to continue with the micro daily, like I give it to my son every day. It really helps him with his personality. It keeps him happy. It keeps him very even keeled, able to deal with stress. I will never not give it to my kid. And when I can treat myself, I make sure I have it and I keep it on hand for myself, the pills. But I have had such a terrible bout of dry eye that in the middle of the night, I feel like I can't even open my eyes. And last week I was tied in and I heard the sister talk about, her situation with glaucoma and the funny lights at night and how it all changed. So I was like, wow, that's pretty encouraging. I tied in at the right time. So I'm in the middle of the experiment to see if by increasing my dosage, how it's going to affect my eyes. I did not have a big problem last night like I usually do. I keep a bottle of eye drops next to my bed. And I tell you, sometimes I put so many in that I could feel it go down my throat. Wow. And it's horrible feeling. But last night I don't think I put it in maybe one time. So we'll see. I'll keep you in tune.
How much did you increase your dosage to? Are you up to like 3 capsules a couple times a day or what?
Yep, that's exactly what I started doing. I started taking 3 in the morning and I would take 2 in the afternoon and 3 at night.
Okay.
So, but maybe just 3 and 3. Yeah, I love the micro daily. It's complete what it's doing. And I have complete confidence in it. And I do see a little bit of a difference. So I'm going to keep it up.
Very good. Thank you so much for sharing your story there, Joyce. We are finding, and this is just my personal observations, that as we get a couple more miles on us, I'm approaching 60. I'll hit 59 in April, and I've noticed that I need to go to 3 twice a day. So 2 twice a day was fine. That's the recommended dosage. But once we get a couple more miles on us, especially with all the stress that we're all under right now, adding that extra one is not a bad thing. But again, especially for anyone who's dealing with sugar issues, you might want to make sure that you're doing at least 3 twice a day, perhaps 3 times a day. Okay.
Well, Jonathan,
Yes.
Can I say one thing about the CBD?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I did try that out and I really liked it. And I would get major headaches. And I thought, oh my goodness, I would take it and my headache would go away. And I thought, is this placebo effect or what? I never had anything affect it so nicely, so quickly. So yeah, I'm going to take advantage of that sale.
Yeah, I take it for if I get a migraine and it goes away because I don't buy Tylenol and I'm allergic to ibuprofen. So it works really good.
Same here.
That's excellent. Very good. Good to hear. Adenalina was the next hand up. Go ahead, Adenalina. Don't forget to
hello.
Yes, go ahead.
Hi, Jonathan.
Hi, Adenalina. Welcome.
Thank you. Victor and I are here. Let's see. I have a couple of questions. First, my mother-in-law, she's 84, and she just had a second amputation because of diabetes. And she was just diagnosed Friday with COVID. Okay. They are giving her all the medicines to get on all kinds of medicines for COVID, that like antibiotics, she has a cough and some congestion. They're giving her meds for that and other things. Okay. So I'm wondering what do we still give her the micro daily? What should we do? Tell us what to do.
That's a very good question. Last week when similar discussion was raised with Dr. Prasad, he made it very clear that microdaily does not contraindicate with any medication. So no matter what medication they're giving her for the COVID or for anything else, taking microdaily is only like eating good food. So she definitely can take that. I'd recommend that what you do is give her, give her higher dosages of it. So if you have control of it, give her 3 capsules 3 times a day at least, and she should see results. There are other seniors that were in that age bracket that went to 4 capsules 2 times a day. Dolores Levat mentioned that when she and her husband were dealing with symptoms of COVID, she was in the 4 capsule category. So you might want to consider just going ahead and just bump it on up to 4 capsules 2 or 3 times a day.
Okay, would this be the micro daily plus or just the regular micro daily?
Go with whatever you can afford. If you can afford to go with the plus, absolutely. But at the very minimum, do the regular.
Do the regular, okay.
Because you see the benefits of CBD, you just get additional benefits.
Yes. Okay.
And there's no doubt about it. You cannot go wrong with that. Even if you went 50-50, just two capsules of regular and 2 capsules of CBD, that's still 4. So do that 4 twice a day and you'll still get the same results.
Okay, very good.
Now, is she drinking plenty of water?
Well, that's what I was going to ask you, because with her being, kind of bedridden now, drinking, that would be an issue.
Yeah, we'll create a problem. Is she being at home or is she in the hospital?
She's at home right now.
Okay, then you can kind of control it, but just just try to be as balanced as you can with it, so that and just realize that the toxins are trying to go someplace, and if you don't help them go someplace, the toxins will migrate toward the weakest part of the body. So those toxins are going to go someplace. So you're better off trying to get them out.
Now to me, I I think I mentioned to you before that I have a cough. It's this dry cough that I've been having, and you said try taking the micro daily out of the capsule,
and add it into water.
So I thought it might be the micro daily maybe, but then I ended up having to go to the doctor and they gave me something I told them check acid reflux or see if I had drainage. So they gave me something for that, and I've been taking it recently and it's a little better, but I'm still having a cough.
Okay, so you could be having some gastrointestinal issues also. So what you might want to do is hit me offline, and you may need to start adding some ImmuneRx to your diet. So some bovine colostrum could help.
Okay, now I do the spray. You mean the spray or the other?
The powder. You don't have the powder?
I don't have the powder. I have the spray.
Yeah, because it sounds like it. Because if you're just talking about anything with the possibility of acid reflux, you may have some GI issues going on there. So yeah, try to reach me. In fact, after we finish with this call, maybe we'll just go into a breakout room. We can talk about that a little bit more. Okay.
Okay. Now,
we'll go into breakout room number 3, and we'll talk about that issue. Okay.
Okay. I just got diagnosed. I went for a mammogram, and they just called me and said they found a small mass in my upper, left quadrant. I go the 8th because they're gonna see what's going on with that. So I don't know what's gonna happen.
Okay.
But But what can I do?
You're going to increase your dosage. You should just go on the 666 protocol right away. So we'll discuss it more when we go into the breakout room, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Very good. Breakout room number 3 is where we'll go, okay, Adelina?
Okay, thank you.
Good. Alfreda?
Well, I was going to say, you know, my sister had a situation where they saw some spots on her breast, and we were doing raising glutathione and glutathione therapy. So of course she had to wait like a month or so to get into the doctor to do the biopsy. I know she was doing a minimum of 4 doses a day. And when she got to the doctor or laying on the table for the biopsy, they were gone. And they were like, Miss Williams, what is where were those spots that were on your breast? Where were they? And so then they brought in the original report and put it up with what they were doing. And she didn't have to have the biopsy. They said, well, because whatever was there is now gone. And so a lot of times, and we have to be really smart about it, you know, because these doctors are overwhelmed. You may have a health issue, but they can't get to you for 6 months or whatever, you know, or 2 months, and your illness is not going to wait to progress. So this is taking control of your health. And so, you know, if I had that diagnosis, I would be with the quickness taking larger doses of the product, you know, and then we'll see what the doctor says when you get there, you know, but you're going to be in a better position than if you do nothing now and then wait till they you know, tell you. But she never had to have anything else done. That also happened to the person that first told me about, you know, raising glutathione, which is what this product does.
Thank you so much.
Excellent. Thank you.
Thank you.
Estelito Jacasine, go ahead, please. And then we'll go right to Karen Hills.
Thank you. Thank you, Jonathan. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, please go ahead.
Okay. I just have a question because I have another sister-in-law who started taking the micro daily EMF, and she started to have having sores, mouth sores. And we told her maybe it's just healing reaction from micro daily or detox reaction. But then she reduced the dosage. It's just the sample that she received. And then she's afraid, you know, to take it continuously because she might have more sores.
Yep. I would highly recommend. In that case, Estelito, we had a similar question come up like that the first time we interviewed Dr. Prasad back about a month ago now. And he said the simple solution there is switch to the regular microdaily, because it's possible that one of the 4 ingredients in the EMF that she's having an allergic reaction to. So it's possible that there's one of those that she's allergic to, and it could take 6 months to a year before the allergy goes away. So just switch her off and go to the regular one, and she should be fine.
Good. There is another one, Jonathan. Tess would like to ask.
Hi, Jonathan.
Hi, Tess.
Still referring, that's my sister, and she got the samples, and so she decreased the required or the suggested dosage to 1 capsule twice a day instead. Now she's diabetic, and she has hyperthyroidism. And on top of that, she has hyponatremia. So her fluid intake, you made mention that whenever we take the micro daily, we have to really step up with our hydration. And so she said, I've been doing that. The maximum amount of water that I could take is really 1.5 liters a day. She says, if I go beyond that, the salt content of my body would drop. And therefore, because she had seizures before because of hyponatremia. So now, on top of that, she would, of course, go to the bathroom so many times because of the hydration that she's been doing. Now, when she took this microdaily EMF, she was just surprised that she slept through the night and only had a voluminous amount of pee in the morning, she said. And then being diabetic and having this hyperthyroidism, the doctor had prescribed her to take magnesium citrate to up her magnesium level. But of course, she would be in the bathroom almost all day.
Yep.
16 times, she said. Then she took the micro daily. She just went one day and she was so scared because that's not normal for her, taking the magnesium citrate. And she said, not even worry, it was formed, she said. And so, so she says, I don't know what's happening, but she had the sores in her mouth for like 36 hours.
Right.
So I told her probably it's one of those 4 ingredients, like you said, and I said probably it's best for you to take the regular one, which she had already ordered because these are just samples. But she would finish it off though. So we'll still continue on monitoring her. But I said I was just going to bring it up in our discussion.
That's amazing. And it doesn't surprise us to hear her digestive system starting to normalize, her colon starting to normalize. We had some folks that had benefits like that as well. So keep an eye on it, monitor it. She may need to add some fiber to her diet just to kind of make sure she doesn't, run into any more issues with that. But that's outstanding. There is another product that was developed by Dr. Nakuzi that she might benefit from as well, the Lymphatic Flush. That could help her system to deal with those toxins getting out. But I was in a similar situation with the EMF. Something in it did not agree with me, so I had to switch off the EMF. But there's others that is doing wonders for them. So I know that can possibly happen, but there's no question about this one. So far, I haven't seen any person that was allergic to this. I haven't seen anybody have a problem with this one in the 5 years that we've been associated with the product. I haven't seen anyone with that one. So very good. Thank you for sharing that.
Thank you, Jonathan.
And by the way, just for everybody that's on right now, the Jacasines, they're both registered nurses, right?
No, just my wife. I'm
retired
registered nurse. I'm just a nursing assistant, but
all we know is medical. Okay, so they're in the medical field, and they just started working the business within the past month or so. Is that right, Estelito? And for those of you who are interested in the business, Alfreda, are you going to be able to stay on for a business meeting right after Alfreda? For 15 minutes?
What is his name?
No, Alfreda.
Alfreda?
Yeah, if there's somebody that had some questions.
Breakout room number 1 will be for the business meeting, but the Jacasines decided to do this as a business and are already on the verge of going Liberty 3 in the first 30 days. So
oh, good for you.
Yeah, they're recommending the product to a lot of people and are seeing some very, very good benefits for that. So
yeah, and I want to interview you.
There you go. So breakout room number 1 for anyone interested in the business discussion.
Okay. Thank
Karen
you.
Hills, please. I'm sorry, Karen Hills, go ahead. Thank you again, Estelito and Tess.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. This is my first time listening in on one of your meetings, but I'm very interested in the products. And first of all, my first question is that I receive immunotherapy for allergies, weekly shots, and I was curious as to how that glutathione would affect I'm allergic to grass and moles, and I have severe allergies. So I was curious as to how that might, the effect that glutathione or the microdaily would have on my allergies and that therapy that I'm already receiving.
Can you describe the mechanism of action of your immunotherapy? How does it work?
I just get the shots, the allergy shots once a week. And
what's it doing? Is it introducing those allergens to your body?
Yes, it is.
Okay, so it's trying to make your body figure out that they're safe.
Yes, yes.
Then how long are you going to be on that therapy?
I have like another year. I'm halfway through the therapy.
Okay. My recommendation is going to be for you not to mess with that, because if you take this is going to make your immune system stronger, and you could end up reacting to the allergens that your body's being exposed to. But what you might want to consider doing is, I didn't talk about this product in our slide presentation, but this one, the one that you might want to introduce to your body is it's called ImmuneRx. It helps re-educate your body so that your immune system figures out the difference between self and not self. So the website that you can get that from is amerixbio.com. It's all natural. It's extracted from bovine colostrum. It's a peptide that's extracted from bovine colostrum. You spray it under your tongue. This does not make your immune system stronger. It brings your immune system into balance. So what your immunotherapy is trying to do, this will enhance what it's trying to do. It'll make it work better. So this would be the way to go for you. Add that to it, and then probably in about 90 days or so, you may not need that immunotherapy. I don't know if you can get a refund, but you may not need it. My wife was allergic to everything under the sun. She had a stack of allergens. I mean, it cost us $100,000 just trying to figure out what was wrong with her. And it turns out that $49.95 bottle of ImmuneRx and some powder, colostrum, the full bovine colostrum, in 90 days, she could eat anything now. She's not allergic to anything. She walks into rooms with Febreze. She'll cough a little bit sometimes with Febreze around, but she doesn't go into some anaphylactic shock like she used to practically, over everything. So you want to bring your immune system into balance, go with that, and then you'll love microdaily after that. Okay.
I'm allergic to, I have hay fever allergies, or had hay fever allergies. And I didn't get into the shots. I actually did go to an allergist, and he wasn't able to really solve the issue. I had been diagnosed with chronic urticaria, or chronic hives. And so at different periods in my life, I just will have an issue, I guess, so their solution was to do methylprednisolone, which I did not want to take on a regular basis, and because that shuts down your immune system. And so we agreed that the last pack he gave me, I just keep it in case of an emergency, in case I have something that happens, or because I could eat fish one day, and then the next day sometimes I can't eat it, and I start having a reaction. But these products have, I don't have problems with the hay fever anymore. I used to have a lot of problem with it, but I don't anymore. And so, and even with the chronic hives, I haven't seen that doctor in, it's been maybe a year and a half, 2 years. So, when you start taking the products, you kind of learn more about yourself and how to take care of yourself, so that you could stay away from doctors, because sometimes the things that they give you will cause all the medicines, they have side effects. So, it causes you to do a learning process, look things up, and see. and it's not going to hurt you to try. The ImmuneRx is a wonderful product. I've used that. You know, Jonathan's helped me with that, with the issue I had, and the doctor, I had a bacteria that the doctor, she was like, well, you don't have enough of the bacteria for me to do anything. And it was a bacteria that they told me, another doctor said, if it got in my bloodstream, it would kill me in 48 hours. And I was like, you got to be kidding. You're going to wait till I have enough of the bacteria to help me? And that product, ImmuneRx, it knocked it out within a week. When I went back to get tested again, the only thing that was on my paper was my name. And it killed everything else, all the, you know, other issues. I was like, okay, there, just my name is on here now. So, that doctor never gave me anything. And it's probably just as well, because she's gonna wait till I get really sick at death's door to help me. I never went back to her again. So
this is not a good time.
Jonathan,
Not a good time to be getting sick right now. Go ahead, Dolores.
Right.
I'm just asking a question for Karen Hills. Are you saying that she should not take the microdaily until she starts to take the ImmuneRx?
I would just, now Alfreda had some positive results with it. I'm just cautious when someone is taking immunotherapy. It will disrupt that process and make her immune system stronger. So she could find herself overreacting to what's being introduced to her body on a regular basis. So if she wants to ride out her immunotherapy, ride it out. If you want to ride it out, but if you're ready to stop, yeah, go to ImmuneRx and microdaily, and you don't need that therapy anymore. That's just my opinion.
I'm thinking, just, you know, I had to really talk with my allergist, you know, because it's like, look, doc, I don't want to take this. You know, taking prednisone opens you up to cancer. So it's like, you have to be a proponent of, and really question him, push the envelope, you know, and and you know, for you to have to go through that for another year, a shot a week, oh my gosh, I'm scared of shots, and so I'm really a baby about that.
No, come on,
so
we all look forward to getting shots.
Oh no, I'm really a baby. They make fun of me and everything. So, you know, I just I would be looking for another way to solve that, because hay fever is kind of an easy thing.
Yeah, I'm not on immunosuppressive therapy, so it's not like a prednisone. I mostly take like Allegra, Zyrtec, basic things like that. So, and then in conjunction with the immuno therapy to introduce the antigen into my system, so I can build my immune system against that. So that's what's going on. And so I'm thinking I might not have a reaction if I don't know. I'm going to think about the ImmuneRx. I'm going to think about trying that.
Yeah, you might at least try that, and then seriously, within just a few weeks, maybe a month, you should be able to start sliding right into microdaily, and will find yourself not overreacting, even if you continue with the shots. The ImmuneRx will ameliorate the overreaction. The overreaction is called cytokine storm. That's the immune system now going into all-out war against this problem in the body. ImmuneRx calms that down, so it will not overreact. So it'll bring it into balance. So if you do decide to keep going back for those shots, so give yourself about a month on the ImmuneRx, 4 blasts under the tongue, twice a day. That's all you're gonna need to do, and then after that, you should be good to go. Angelique, please go ahead.
Okay, I want to know, since you're talking about immune stuff, what about if you have lupus?
Lupus, microdaily, because what it does is raises glutathione levels, it selectively modulates the immune system. Someone with lupus has elevated B cells. raising glutathione with N-acetylcysteine raises the T cells. When the T cells in the immune system go up, the B cells automatically go down by themselves. So someone who's having lupus, this is one of the best things they could do.
So which one?
The regular.
Huh?
The regular.
How many pills a day?
2 capsules twice a day.
Oh, okay.
And if they're afraid, all you have to do is add ImmuneRx. ImmuneRx calms down the overreaction of the immune system. But just 2 capsules twice a day for someone with lupus, they should be fine. Ruth Lawrence, please. There you go. Well, you were a minute ago. Try it now.
Can you hear me now?
There we go.
Okay, thank you. I was just, I've invited some people that never heard of the microdaily before, and you have such a good explanation and explaining what it does to the body and everything and how it builds the body up. So if you could give a comment or two on that. And one of my family members, they work away from home around a lot of children. So what could he do to help keep himself safe and his wife as well? Would this product be a good thing for them to take to keep their immune systems up?
Absolutely. If a person only had to make a decision about just one single thing that they wanted to do to give their immune system the greatest amount of support, in my personal opinion and in my professional opinion, I believe that this is the single most powerful thing to support the immune system that I've found so far. I have not found anything more effective than this. This is over years now, and I've tried many different products. But if I had only one thing, because of the cost, primarily because of the cost, and secondly, because of how powerful it is. So for the money, this is the most powerful immune system boosting product that's on the market that I found so far. So for someone who's around a lot of kids who could be carrying, say, some kind of virus or some other germ, and they're worried about their immune system picking it up, 2 or 3 capsules twice a day with meals, and they should, their anxiety and worry should go down exponentially. I've been going into stores. In fact, at the very beginning of this pandemic, I was doing level 1 cleanings of Metro PCS and T-Mobile stores every day, right on the front line. So we're talking about being in the hospital front line, but I was going into Metro PCS, so it was a germ factory. In fact, they had known cases of COVID-19 in those stores, and I've never once tested positive for COVID-19, and never once had any symptoms that I felt could have been related to it. And even if I did feel like I was catching a cold that may have been asymptomatic of COVID, it was gone within a day. So I have had no problems, well, actually within hours. I've had no problems whatsoever, even being exposed to the possibility of being, around it. But for someone who's connected to some kids, especially, you want to protect yourself. 2 capsules twice a day, and it should be plenty.
Okay.
Now, for those who are wondering if this answering your question, Ruth, for the person who's wondering how it works, one of the main things it does is raise glutathione levels in the body. That's one of the many things it does. It does much more than that. But one of the things it does is raise glutathione levels.
Tell them what glutathione is.
Glutathione is your body's master antioxidant. Your body makes glutathione. Glutathione runs around in the body and finds anything that doesn't belong there, grabs it, and passes it out of the body as waste. This is one of the best glutathione enhancement products on the planet right now. So it's a great way to build your body's defense, your master defensive mechanism. Okay?
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
So very good. Well, listen, folks, we have used up our hour. In fact, we've gone way past our allotted time period. That's okay. I'm not complaining, just saying. So next week, we're going to be talking a little bit about cancer. So we've had a couple of requests to talk about cancer. We're going to come back to this diabetes probably the week after that. And I'm trying to see if we can't book Dr. Nkuzi to come on, because I want Dr. Nkuzi to do a follow-up on Dr. Prasad's discussion. Just a week ago, Dr. Nkuzi said to me, he said, did you know that 20% of the people who go into the hospital with COVID-19 will have a negative outcome? 20%. And that to me was mind-boggling. So that's 20 out of 100 people, 2 out of every 10 that are not going to come out if they get hospitalized for COVID-19. So that's what he's seeing as a medical doctor. So it'd be nice to hear his observations on those vaccines, the Pfizer one and the Moderna one, and the document that Dr. Prasad wrote, because that document was incredible. The published document is incredible. So we have some powerful tools at our fingertips if you can just share them with folks. So if you know anyone that would like a sample, and if you are not able to send samples to any of your guests or your clients, then let me know. We have samples available. So just shoot me out a text in WhatsApp or something and say, please send a free sample to this person. I don't have any more free samples left. And I'll be happy to share any free samples that I have with any of your clients for you. Okay, so you have a partnership here. You have a team. So we're going to create about 3 breakout rooms. So a business discussion will be going on in breakout room number 1. And Estelito, any of your team that still had additional questions? No, it wasn't Estelito. It was Adenalina that I'm talking to. Adenalina, if you're still on, I'm going to go into breakout room number 3.
How do you get there?
How do you go there to the breakout?
I'm still on.
Oh no, it's going to come up. You're going to be given an opportunity to go into the breakout rooms as soon as I put it on the screen.
Okay.
And it looks like we have one more question here from Judy Reed. So let's give Judy Reed a chance. You have to unmute your line, Judy.
Hi, I'm Ruth's sister. This is my first time in one of your meetings. And I myself, thank you. I myself is taking the micro daily, but I have the powdered shake in the 2. So my question, right. So is that just as powerful as the capsules?
Yes, it is.
And is that just as powerful as taking with the diabetes thing? Like if you have any type of glucose issue, because I am hypoglycemic, which I really don't have any problems with it. I have the low blood sugar, but I noticed that it is sweet, but it hasn't, I don't feel any, like it's making me feel bad or anything. But I'm saying, is that just as good as taking that as well as the capsules?
It is just as good. 1 packet of hydro is the same as taking 2 capsules of micro daily. It is just as powerful. Now, for someone who's full-blown diabetic, you can take 1 hydro, but open 1 capsule and add that to the packet, and that's the same as taking 3 capsules.
So what it does, it actually it kind of reduces your glucose if you have high sugar.
I have found that it takes my sugar levels personally. When I take it, I can tell my sugar levels go low. I'm not diabetic, but I was just about to give a lecture one evening, and I forgot that I hadn't eaten anything, and I'm drinking on a hydro because it just tastes so good. I'm just drinking on this hydro.
Right, I like the way it tastes too.
And next thing you know, if I didn't sit down, I was going to hit the ground. And somebody fortunately had some, because we were bringing snacks to our meetings. These were live meetings. And I said, who's got something to eat? Because the room is spinning right now. So it took my sugar levels into a nosedive. So yeah, that's why I recommend make sure you take it with food.
Okay, I got you. All right. I mostly do. When I take mine, I do take it with food. After I take mine with lunch.
There you go. Perfect. Yeah. There you go. You're drinking and right along with your meal. That's real good. Miss D has a question. Thank you very much for your question.
Thank you. Thank you.
Question. So how do we text you on your WhatsApp?
That's a very good question. someone that invited you is probably in the WhatsApp chat, and we can add you to that group. But my direct number is 754-581-5028, and we can add you to that chat. So contact me or Alfreda, and we'll put you right in that chat. Then you get notified as to exactly when we have meetings like this and what the topics will be.
Great, thank you.
You're quite welcome. Okay, folks, I'm going to start the recording, but for any that are interested in the business, go into breakout room number 1. Do you see the breakout rooms?
Yes, I do, at the bottom on the
Okay.
menu.
So just, you can click on join the one you want to go into, and Adelina, I'll meet you in room number 3.
Hey, I don't see the breakout room. Oh yeah, I do.
I don't see it. Where?
I see it at the top.